What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Warren. I am a property investor across the UK and a banker here in London. My goal is to live free and independently from property. So I'm looking for an income of £3,000 per month from property. If that's what you're onto, like, subscribe. That is what my channel is all about. So guys, welcome back. This is the update for August, the UK housing market update for August. What is happening? I said last month that the next few months are going to be really interesting as to what direction the property market, the UK housing market, is going to go in for the rest of the year. So far there has been negative growth, but as we saw last year, it hasn't been a full-on crash. We're just off the back of the 12th successive increase in base rates in the UK. What effect has that had on the housing market for August 2023? Has that led us into a spiral?
Housing in the UK is a joke. The entire system is broken.
Locked out of home ownership.
Towards a crash or not, let's get straight into the data and take a look. So as you can see on screen here, for last month, there was a monthly change of 0.2% following on a basically flat month the previous month of 0%. So the annual change from last year, 2022, to now, July 2023 in the UK housing market is plus 0.5% according to Rightmove, which of course is an indication of demand. It's not agreed sales, it's based on listings in the UK. And let's take another look at the graph from January 2023 to right now. As you can see, for the year so far, it's been pretty much flat with a few small incremental increases in asking prices from February to March, and from April to May, and then from May onwards it has pretty much stayed flat / dipped slightly over the last 2 months. So how should we interpret this? Okay, we've seen pretty much a really unimpressive level of growth in the UK housing market so far in 2023. But let's not forget, but that's in the context amongst the backdrop of a basically nightmare scenario in the economy with a cost of living crisis.
UK's headline rate at 8.7% remains higher than other G7 countries, with price rises in Germany, France, the US and Japan all lower than Britain.
With base rates increasing 12 months in a row, and before that, a war in Europe and also a global health pandemic. Yet the housing market has not crashed, okay? Let's look at some commentary from the Rightmove housing market report for August 2023. So we can see that the flat growth of 0% is really a norm for this time of year as new sellers temper their price expectations in response to the base rate rises and increased buyer affordability constraints, which has been driven by the economy and the cost of living crisis. And some commentary around what we just said, confirming what we said. Price trends have proved more resilient than most expected during the first half of the year. Average prices are 2.6% higher than in January. However, in the backdrop, the wider context of brakes on the economy being applied by the Bank of England, i.e. the interest rate hikes to combat inflation, means that we're behind 2019's more normal market level. That was pre-COVID. But you can see it right here. It's been a surprisingly strong first 5 months of the year, and buyer demand still remains resilient. An interesting and balanced overall assessment of the UK housing market so far in the first half of the year up to August 2023. But guys, what I really want to focus on, guys, when we're talking about the issue of affordability, not just of day-to-day living expenses, like our gas, our petrol, our food, but let's expand that, because this is a channel about housing, to affordability, about houses, and let's link that to the housing supply. And I've talked about how the supply of housing is at the core, really, of affordability of property in the UK.
Britain has a shortfall of over 4 million homes, the worst record in Europe.
How can we not have enough houses? Let's just build some more. Pretty much everyone is promising to build hundreds of thousands of homes.
To build.
We build.
But I haven't gone into the numbers, and I think you'll find this interesting. So what I found on the House of Commons UK Parliament page is that the target is 340,000 new homes to build per year, new homes per year in the UK by the mid-2020s. That's the target that the government has set itself. Why 340,000? We don't know. There's no maths or methodology that's been presented to the public that we can point to and look to and be like, okay, that's how you got to that number. It seems a bit arbitrary, to be honest with you. If you know of any other sources or somewhere or articles, that explain how and why the government landed on 340,000. Please do share in the comment section below, but that's a number, okay? And of those, the aim is for 145,000 to be affordable. Again, why 145,000 out of 340,000? It's not clear, not explained. Those are just the numbers that we're given. And I found some really interesting data on UK house building, UK housing supply that comes alongside this. Now, if you look at the screen here, this is a really simplified graph about the number of completed houses going back to the 1940s, 1946 to be specific. Now, if you look from 1946 to 1986, it's kind of above and below a kind of average, I'd say, of 250,000 new homes being built per year, right? That's probably the average over those 40 years. And it peaked in the 1960s at, that's about 350,000. So you can see a clear contrast in the line from 1946 to 1986 versus 1986 onwards. More houses were being built up until 1986, and that's really reduced from 1986 till now, okay? And from 1986 to 2006, you can see the average is round about, I'd say, 150,000 per year. So that's a big drop from the average being around about 250,000 before that, from 1946 to 1986. So the population has obviously gotten bigger over time. I just had a quick Google. We're at about 67 million. Round about the 1960s, I'm seeing around about 55 million. So that's about a 20% increase in the population. But house building is actually going down over time. So there's not enough houses being built for the population, okay? And that could be for a variety of reasons, you know, the government actually having the money to be able to build this many houses and keep that up, you know, year after year, 340,000 year after year. That takes, you know, cash. And I'll be interested to know about your opinions on the reasons behind that. Why has the supply of housing in the UK gone down over time? And then when you look at this graph asking if supply is meeting demand, you can see these two lines in purple. One's at 300,000, so the government wants housing supply to reach 300,000. Others say it's 340,000. So basically 300,000 is looking like the government's target, but people are saying they actually should be 340,000. But that's by the by. Look at the green line from 2006 to now, way below that. For almost 20 years, guys, okay? We're just not meeting the required need for housing supply in the UK. To be fair to the government, it hit kind of, you know, between this period, you see a low point in 2012 of around about, let's call that, what, 120,000, and they've successively gone up over the decade until now with a slight dip during the period, which is probably the COVID period, but it's never reached the target. And we know that schemes like Help to Buy have ended, which, although it was, you know, you paid a premium for these new homes if you were using the scheme, they were helpful in getting first-time buyers onto the ladder. In the absence of schemes like that, who's building the houses, okay? Young people, millennials like us, have yet another hurdle to jump over to get onto their property ladder. And back to the point of affordability, when these new homes are being built, a certain portion, we saw 140,000 to be specific, are aimed to be affordable houses. And we know that when it comes to affordable housing in the UK, the discounts tend to range between 20 to 50% on the market value. So if we just use UK averages, right, according to the UK Land Registry, the average price of a house in the UK is £285,861. as at making this video today. When you apply, let's say a 35% discount, going halfway between 20 and 50%, let's say you get a 35% discount on average. That takes the average price of a UK property, an affordable UK home, down to £186,000. The average UK salary is £27,756. So when we're talking about multiples in income, the average affordable home with a 35% discount is going to be 6.7 times the average person's income, okay? Because the whole point of affordable housing is that the average person can afford it. Why am I bringing this up? Because even with the affordable discount applied, okay, we know that lenders tend to set a maximum ceiling in terms of mortgages of lending you between 4 and 4.5 times your salary. Lenders tend not to go above that. It's all to do with the 2008 crash and regulation and responsible lending and making the whole financial system more robust. So the point is, even with affordable housing and the discounts applied, the average person still can't afford them. Housing is out of control from a price perspective. What is the solution? It's circular, guys. We need more homes. The government need to be meeting that 300 to 340,000 per year target. I don't know what the answer is, just in terms of how the government is going to be able to meet that. I'm sorry, guys. I wish I had some ideas, but I really don't know. And maybe it's just a subject that I need to research more. Maybe you guys have some ideas. What have you seen? What ideas do you have? You know, is it working in other countries? Are they doing it better than us? Probably. But we really need more homes being built, and guys, we need real wage growth. I've talked about this before, but the average wage, okay, of the average UK worker has grown by about 1% per year on average between 2008 and now. People don't talk about this enough, right, in the media, just in general. It's not common knowledge. Our economy is not productive enough. People's wages aren't growing as they should.
It's not just about a bad few years, it's about a bad decade and a half. The 10 years before the financial crash in 2008, Britain had the second fastest productivity growth in the G7, behind only the United States. The 10 years afterwards, the second slowest in the G7, ahead of only Italy.
We're the first generation, guys, to be worse off than our parents and our grandparents were when it comes to affordability, right? They might have got paid less in nominal terms, but they could afford a lot more with their money. Anyway, I'm sorry to end on a bit of a pessimistic note, but it's good to give people reality. And you can form, you know, ideas and strategies based on the circumstances we're in. How do you still thrive? Okay, that's the next step. But guys, thanks as always for watching and supporting the channel. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.